commentator on the BBC and columnist with the National Mirror. His articles and essays are also published in various other news outlets. So something.
The energy of Sharina is contagious. Well, good morning, everybody. And, I'm very happy to have you here. The program we're about to participate in today is part of our roundtable and part of our open lecture. We do this program by you know, CNN and other television stations would claim that Trump said from day one he would get it done, and they believed that's like expecting that a magic wand would be waved and magic would happen. That's not really the case. Every policy takes time to crystallize. So I'm really shocked that very intelligent people taking it seriously to ask that Trump says, from day one he would do some things and they expect that he would do it. Trump said he would end the Russia-Ukraine war, and people are blaming him for not doing it immediately. But I would say, just 2 weeks before President Biden left the White House, he introduced a policy of allowing Ukraine to use long-range missiles to strike Russia. And Russia had put the world on notice that if that happens, they'll be very, very tough on Ukraine. And Biden allowed that to happen. And subsequently, Russia became very tough on Ukraine. And people didn't see a connection. And Biden had muddied the water before Trump got there. So there's no way things were going to get better unless a lot of things happen. And Biden was there for so long, and the war had raged on for almost 3 years. Trump had been there for less than 100 days, and they are negotiating the settlement. So I'm surprised that people are not taking note of.
Well, I guess you might be surprised. I guess people just believe what they hear. So in a way, what you're telling us is that it is not Trump's fault for lying; it's the people's fault for believing.
Absolutely. Trump, people take our statements to heart, and I think people should think more critically. Trump,
From telling not to say things that people will have to think to heart, then you tell him to think more critically and guide his statements in a way, because you can't be president of the, perhaps up to the most influential country in the world, and you say things that you expect us not to take it serious. I think your defense is weak, but go ahead.
President Trump is a different kind of leader. And I'll cite an example. Somebody asked Trump a question about who he would prefer as a choice of the new pope. Yeah. And the very next day, Trump did an AI image of him as the pope.
No, it's not different. It's a glasses. But go ahead.
Exactly. So that shows you that Trump has lighter side of things. Like what Trump says, sometimes as a joke, should not be taken to heart. Yeah, Trump is not aiming to be the Pope, but the next they came up with an image of him looking like a Pope.
If there is a possibility.
Trump also did resolve the issue in Gaza, and he did an AI image of the Riviera in Gaza. And people jumped on it saying that, Trump wants to convert Gaza to American enclave.
Yeah.
Trump has a way of throwing people off balance. But people are not catching it. And I expected them to begin to do trend analysis and realize that Trump is an unconventional leader.
A conventional world.
Absolutely. That's
one day he's going to drive his plane into our garage because he's an unconventional president.
He's changing the old world order. He said he was going to drain Washington of the conventional ways and old methodologies that they have been entrenched in. Okay. And that's what he's doing.
Okay, let us that is changing the old world order. I will go with that. Now, more than the question is a conversation we're having. So I'm going to do a long preamble, but I don't like it before they ask questions, but allow me to do that. The world order as we know it today, what as we knew it up to 103 days ago, was a world order that was established after the Second World War. That new world order was an order that was led mainly by the USA. And others followed. The premise of that New World Order are mainly three things: free trade, democracy, collaboration, or at least economic interdependence. Those are the three pillars of the world order. To make that world order happen, America came out as two things: the most prosperous economy in the world and a defender of liberal democracy. You juxtapose that with another strong force, which was the States Union, Soviet Union, but was not a defender of liberal democracy. To ensure that those three principles on the pillars of the democracy were founded, to ensure that these two so that's the order of the world that Trump met, Trump 200, 103 days ago. You can add to that that because of the state of America there, all the countries, Germany had lost the industrial power that the bomb had beaten to pulp. Japan was grappling with survival. So in a way, America was the only industrialized country that people were buying from. They were the one producing. And one of the things they did was to go and encourage consumption in other countries. So they provided loans, they provided funds. By the way, contrary to what people think, the Marshall Plan wasn't a gift, it was actually a loan. There's a very, the usual witty talk here. When they talk about the help that America provided to them, they talk about keeping their back to pay for it. That maybe they call themselves our friends, or the witty people saying behind Roosevelt. So, and I think very quietly, Africans wanted to learn that. Very, very quietly, the UK finished paying that loan less than 10 years ago. Actually, a lot of people Johnson was still Prime Minister when the last installment was made. Nobody complained. They just want to do it. So that is the world order that Trump is made. The new order that Trump is creating is a world order that has more refined tastes about democracy, I guess. Does not believe that kind of democracy, does not believe in interdependence anymore. They see interdependence as cheating them. And then they do not believe in the 10 principle, which is collaboration.
Yes,
if you are clear about it.
Yeah, if you allow me to jump in at this point, if I could just give a very strong point. When President Trump, insisted that Ukraine had to pardon their for the funding that the US had given it in this war with Russia. A lot of people thought that Trump was being exploitative. But you just confirmed now to me that it was not, because even the Marshall Plan, Europe was paid for by the Europeans. So Trump was doing the normal thing, but people were not thinking, far enough to see that he was not being exploitative. He was just doing the normal thing. Even when the United States of America backed Kuwait, when Iraq tried to annex it, Kuwait paid with oil. But Biden was doing it pro bono or gratis for Ukraine because of the protection that Zelensky gave to his son, Hunter, when Trump was trying to point at Hunter was involved in some, not untoward transactions with Ukraine when he was contesting against the father, President Biden. So, they did not do what the United States of America usually does by asking for repayment for whatever they are doing for any country, which goes back to the days of the Marshall Plan, as Prof just pointed out. The truth is that for the past, 50 years plus, as Prof stated, the world had an order after the World War. The world decided to go in a certain direction. By 1972, President Nixon went to China and they started a conversation. Before then, for 25 years, US had not had any communication with China. And President Nixon started that conversation. Unfortunately, he was a one-term president. And subsequently, Jimmy Carter, in 1979, opened a diplomatic relationship with China. And the plan of America, voluntarily, by their own volition, was to shift manufacturing and production to China so that the US would handle the service side of things, the Wall Street and all the dot-coms, and everything. It worked for them. It was a good business model. But 50 years after, it has been proven not to be the best model because America was suffering, by not having enough manufacturing going on in the continent, to sustain, to create jobs, and stuff like that. So instead this agenda of getting manufacturing out of China back to America, even his predecessor, Biden, tried to do so. Clinton in the past had also tried to do so. So it's something that a lot of other leaders have not had the spunk to do, but Trump has been confident enough to be able to do it. But it's having a desired effect on the globe. But at the end of the day, as he said, it's a transitional thing. And when everybody settles down, they will come to terms with the fact that the world has changed 50 years after. So I actually don't mind that there's a product cycle. Products will go up when they reach the peak, they begin to come down. I think I have reached the point where globalization, pushed by World Trade Organization and all similar agencies of the world, have come to the end of the road. And
I think let's just say
so a paradigm shift is happening.
the paradigm shift. We can go with paradigm shift. I mean, the world continues. There is a possibility, though, that the shift